Hi y'all, it's Kimberly here. Thank you all for coming to my channel. Thank you subscribers, thank you so much. I have another little story time for you. It's a funny one. It's about when I was a sophomore in high school, and I had gone to a magnet school, which is a school that you could go to out of your regular district. They had special classes that if you wanted to take them. And I wanted to take, they had ballet and gymnastics there, and I can't remember, some kind of academic classes I don't even remember what they were, but something academic I went there for too. And when I'd only been going there for about 2 weeks, and I met this girl, I made friends with this girl. You know, when you're young, you make friends really fast, and we just really kind of clicked. And she was the same girl that when I went to her house and her mother was cooking the tripas, I told you in another video, and we both don't like tripas, so it was that girl. And I was at her ballet class. It was outside of school. It was like on a Saturday, and she went to other ballet school, not just in class, but a separate ballet school outside of high school. And she was taking her class. I went just as a guest, and you could bring your friend. And so she brought me, and we took the class, and then she was going to have to take another class. They were doing they were doing some kind of recital or something, and she had to dress up in costume, and they had a rehearsal. And so I was just sitting there waiting, or she was changing, and she had her tutu there from another part of the recital. I was like, oh, this is so pretty, it's so beautiful, you know. And I'd taken ballet, but I had never worn a tutu. I had done, when I was really young, I was in a ballet, the Nutcracker Suite, but I was a mouse. I was really, really young. Me and my sisters were, and I think we were in something else. But I had never danced as a ballerina with a tutu and everything. And she goes, try it on, you can try it on. And I was like, oh, really? I tried it on, and I was like, oh, it's so pretty. And then she had the point shoes, and we wore the same size. We both had little tiny feet, and I did then. I don't know. But I tried them on. I had tried on point shoes before, but I had never taken class with them. I hadn't been that advanced. And she'd been taking ballet for years, and so she laced them up and helped me put them on. And they're really hard. Point shoes are really hard. When you first start dancing with them, they're very hard. And she goes, well, I gotta go do my rehearsal, but you can wear this, you can practice, you can stay over here. And so I was in the corner over there by myself, and I was standing up practicing, being a ballerina, and doing all the point stuff and everything. And then after the class, her brother was picking us up, and he drove up in this clunky old, I think it was like a Galaxy 500 or something. It was like 4 different colors, had different colored doors, and it was like poof, poof, backfiring and everything, and it was like a heap. And she had a square dancing costume on, and we ran outside. He was honking and told us, hurry up, get in the car. And so we jumped in the car, and I had my tutu on, or her tutu on, and I was still dressed like that. And we had to grab our bags and everything, and he was like, hurry up, and we're shoving in the car. And I was 16, I guess. I think she might have been 15 or 16. And we jumped in the back seat, and her brother was, I think he was a senior in high school. I think he was 18. And then his friend was in the front seat. And he was, she liked him. My friend liked him. He was her brother's friend, and he was older too. We were sophomores, and they were both seniors, I think. Or maybe, I think the guy might have been graduated already. I can't remember. She had a crush on him. And he was dressed, he had on, he was dressed kind of like a pirate. He had on this black hat, and he had on an eye patch, and he had on this fluffy pirate shirt with, you know, striped kind of pirate shirt or something, I can't remember, and a leather vest, and this a sash or something, I can't remember, and these leather boots that came up to your knees. And they were talking to each other, saying, yeah, we're going to go to that party. And she was like, what party, and because I had never been to a party before, and this is before I even had ventured out being a little rebellious or going to parties or anything like that, and I still wear my glasses and everything, which I don't wear anymore. They took it off my license. I had astigmatism, but I probably will maybe be getting glasses pretty soon. I don't know. Maybe someday. But they were talking, and then they said, well, we're going to call two other friends. But they said, oh, we got to go pick them up. And the one guy that, she talked her brother into letting us go. Come on, please, please, please. I can't remember. Some exchange of money or something. I don't know what. I can't remember what she said. But all right, but y'all better not drink or get drunk or anything. Okay, no, we won't. But that's what we wanted to do. Because we had never been to a party like that with grown-ups, like older people. And then her brother had on this coat, and we drove over to somebody's house. We had to go pick somebody else up, and we went out to a trailer park, and the guy came out, and he was dressed like a cowboy, but he had these fluffy white chaps on, like woolly fur, like 3 or 4 inches long, woolly fur, and he had a bullwhip, and he had a cowboy hat on, and we were laughing, me and her were laughing, and well, years later, this is out of this story, but years later, I walked into a small little bar in town that we had, and I used to like to go to listen to live music. I didn't really go to drink. I've seen a lot of live music, and that's one thing I really loved, was to go and see live music and all the musicians and everything. That guy that was wearing the chaps, he was sitting up against the wall in a chair, and I think his older brother or cousin was on stage wearing the same chaps, and he was doing some kind of rap dance thing. I don't know. I'd never heard that music, and I started laughing, and my friend was like, get him, stop. And I was like, I can't, when I start laughing, I can't stop. So she, pushed me to the bathroom and was like, stop. I was like, I know, he's dancing in chaps. But that's just off from that story. But that was kind of weird that years later I saw the other guy wearing the same chaps. But anyway, back to that. Okay, and then we had a guy dressed like a motorcycle cop. He came out, and we're like, is he a cop? Is he a real cop? We were getting all scared, me and her, because we're about to go to a party and maybe get a drink or something. We didn't know. We were like, oh, and they're like, no, he's trying to get into the motorcycle academy, and he was trying on his uncle's clothes. He wanted to wear them, and he thought he just had an obsession with becoming a motorcycle cop. And then that guy's older brother came out. And mind you, we're going to this party. And I'm not going to tell you what kind of party it is. You can guess at the end. But this other guy came out, and he was wearing a dress. And he had his hair all styled. He had kind of long hair. He had on makeup. And that was the first time that me and her had seen a guy in drag or cross-dress. At that time, I think cross-dressing was more the term that people used, but but he was the older guy that, actually he was the friend of the person that, was having the party. So he allowed his brother to go, which they invited all of us, and but it all started from the guy in drag, and that was his friend. And so we had me and my tutu, my girlfriend in her square dancing uniform or costume, and the pirate, the cowboy with the fluffy chaps, and then the motorcycle cop. And then her brother, he goes, what am I supposed to do? And he goes, there was these little bunny ears in the back seat of the car from their little sister that had, I don't know, wore them for some reason. They were back there. I don't know why. And she put them on her brother's head, and he goes, oh, what am I supposed to be? She goes, turn your coat around, because his coat had fur. It was a reversible coat. It had like satin on the outside, and then it was reversible. And he turned it around, and it had this long, fluffy fur. And she goes, "You're a bunny rabbit now." I was like, okay. And so we we start leaving, and the guy in drag was on his motorcycle. He used to ride a motorcycle, so he was riding a motorcycle in a dress, in drag. And so we're going back into town. We're just a few miles from town, and we're driving back in town, and then all of a sudden we run out of gas. So we all get out, and we're all dressed in our little costumes or whatever, and we're like, oh my gosh. And so the guy on the motorcycle was like, well, I can't carry the gas back. And he goes, well, one of you girls is going to have to carry it, because it was a little bitty motorcycle. It wasn't very big. And we're like, oh. And her dress was real fluffy, and she was scared of motorcycles. And so I was like, I'll do it. And so I got the gas can, and we're driving through back to town to get the gas, and we got the gas, and I was hanging on and trying not to spill the gas on me. I did not want that gas on me. So I was kind of holding the gas like this, and I was holding on to him really tight, because it was a little tiny motorcycle. I didn't even know this guy. And then we get pulled over by a motorcycle cop, and he's like, what's going on? I'm wearing a tutu, and he's dressed in drag, and we have a can of gasoline. And he goes, well, our friends ran out of gas, and we were trying to give the gas, we got to take the gas back to him. And so the cop was like halfway not believing us, and I was underage. I was a very tiny little person, and he knew I was underage, and he asked for an ID, and I was like, I don't have a driver's license, I don't drive. And then, so he goes, okay, where's this car at? Car full of people? So he goes, oh, it's just a couple miles down there. And he goes, well, okay. He took me, put me in the car, and took the gas can, and he goes, well, I'm going to go with you. Because I kind of think he didn't believe us or something weird. I don't know. He took us anyway, and we drive up, and my friend in the square dancing thing is in the back seat making out with the pirate, and then the cowboy and the motorcycle cop are like play fighting, like stabbing each other with swords, or he's beating him up with I don't know what they're, it was just a crazy scene. And so the cop is like, and they all, mortified, when they're all scared, they're going to get in trouble. But he saw it, we were just honestly telling the truth. And back then the cops weren't so, I don't know. It didn't seem like they would arrest you for every little thing. He just wanted to make sure that we're okay. And then he just left. And so we get back in the car, and we start going to the party, and we get into town, and all of a sudden when we're probably not too far from the party, and the car breaks down. It stops. And we're like, oh my God. And so my friends were all mad, and I was like, where's the address? What is it? And I knew that city really well. That city was on a grid. It was like streets would go one way, numbered streets 1 through 20, 30, all the way through the number system. And the cross streets were avenues, and they were named after different cities and trees and different things in different sections, So I knew the streets really well. And I was like, well, that's just about 5 blocks from here. We can walk, it's not that big a deal. Don't worry about it. And so we all start walking in me and the tutu and the square dancer and the pirate and, the motorcycle cop, they're all fighting and everything. And so we arrive at the party, and on the corner is a vacant lot, and so the guy parks his motorcycle and gets off, and then we have to go around there's like probably about 10 cars there, and by this time it's like about 7 or 8 o'clock at night, or maybe not quite, maybe like around 7. Not too much time had passed, but after all that we did, it was getting dark, and then we walk across. We have to go around the garage, and then we walk up, and then the motorcycle cop that had stopped us is right there. We didn't see his bike, his motorcycle, and he's standing on the porch, and he had driven by, and there was a big commotion or something had happened, and he stopped, and so he came to investigate the party. And he was breaking the party up and telling us, and we're like, oh, what? And he turned around, he looked at us, he saw all of us, we were all lined up. You know, the same exact cop who had taken us to get gas. It was just funny, you know, that, well, he broke the party up and said, well, you're not going to party now, you know, so. And so we left. We had to, it ruined my first little party, but it was funny. Just the way we were dressed, and each one of us, you know, in our costumes. If you haven't guessed, no, it wasn't Halloween. And it wasn't cosplay. We didn't really have cosplay back then. But it was a come as you are party. And I was in my tutu because I'd tried it on. She was in her square dance costume. And her boyfriend, the only reason he wanted to dress differently because he was dressed normal and all of us looked like something else. And the pirate really wasn't a pirate. He had gotten his eye hurt in at school or something. I can't remember. He got like wood chunks or something in it, so he had a patch on it. And he was trying to be in a rock and roll band, so he was dressed like with these flowy sleeves, and he always wore funky clothes. And back then in the 80s, guys sometimes did wear leather boots, knee boots. He wasn't really a pirate. He was just dressed that way because of the times. And he played guitar. He was trying to be in a band. And then the guy dressed in drag. That's just the way he dressed. And he was trying to do drag shows or something, which was it was a little different back then, you know. But we didn't care, you know. It didn't matter to us. And the cowboy, he actually was trying to... Rap had just kind of started, so him and the older guy that I saw later, years later in the bar, probably like about 5 or 6 years later, he was, I think, the younger brother, or that was his cousin, or I don't remember, but they were trying to make music then, and they were trying to make that kind of rap music, and they still had those chaps. And the bullwhip was just a prop, you know. And then the motorcycle cop, like I said, he was just he tried on his uncle's uniform because he was obsessed with being a motorcycle cop. So we were all dressed that way when they called and told us about the part, or called the older guy, the guy in drag. He got the call, and then everybody who got notified, you know, they just happened to be dressed that way. And that used to be kind of party that they would have, a come as you are party. It didn't matter what you're wearing or what you looked like, or if you were in your work uniform or doing something. You just dropped it and you came to the party right then. And, well, that was just funny, you know. Ruined my first party, but it was funny, I thought. Well, thank you so much, and hope y'all got a laugh out of that. I remember it, you know, us standing in a row with that motorcycle cop looking at each one of us like we thought we were going to be arrested. We were so scared. We were like, oh my gosh. But he let us go. He just broke up the party. He didn't care. And he had other things. He had criminals to chase after, not kids that were trying to have a party, you know. Okay, well, thank you. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye-bye.